Welcome to the Full-Time FBA Show. In each episode, it's our goal to help you turn part-time hours into a full-time income selling almost anything on Amazon. And now, your hosts of the show, Stephen and Rebecca Smotherman.
Welcome to episode number 227 of the Full-Time FBA Show. Today, we're going to talk about some wholesale red flags if you're doing some wholesale sourcing. These are things you need to be looking for, and they are potential red flags for a wholesale situation. And to talk with me about this is my wife, the ultimate green flag. Rebecca, how are you doing? Is green flag a thing?
I don't know about that, but I'm glad I'm not a red flag.
Yes, absolutely. So let's discuss these wholesale red flags before I say anything more embarrassing.
So this month, we're going to be doing some free training on the wholesale model of selling on Amazon over at Full-Time FBA. And we usually talk about retail arbitrage and online arbitrage on the podcast. And those are the processes of sourcing for profitable inventory locally at retail stores or online at retail stores. OA, RA, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. But today we're going to maybe save you from making some huge mistakes about wholesale sourcing, which is usually sourcing profitable inventory by buying directly from the brand. So Stephen, kick us off today with one of the first wholesale sourcing red flags.
I would love to do that, but before we do that, just understand, listener, that if a wholesaler has one or more of these red flags, they should not 100% be eliminated from being a trusted wholesaler. These red flags are just something to look out for because they are most likely not a trusted wholesaler. But some of these red flags that we're going to talk about, you can look into things a little more closely and still find that they are a good wholesaler. So this is just a time to pause, do a little more research, and see if you can trust this potential wholesale supplier. Okay, let's get into this. The first red flag when looking to source a profitable wholesale lead is this. It looks like your contact is working directly with the brand, but in reality, they're not. This is usually not 100% of the time, but this usually means that your contact is actually a distributor, and a distributor is one who buys from the brand and sells to you at a higher price so that they profit from the distributing that they're doing. The lowest buy price will almost always be buying directly from the brand, but sometimes that's just not possible for resellers like us. So for example, the Lego brand will only sell directly to you if you have a huge, possibly multi-million-dollar order and or a huge platform to sell the Legos. In a non-huge brand circumstance, that's the technical term, non-huge brand circumstance, you can buy directly from the brand if you can buy directly from the brand, you'll be buying at the lowest price and will make more money. So I suggest to see if you can strike up a relationship with the brand in order to sell at a lowest price possible. But if that's not possible and buying from a distributor at their price is still profitable for you, then go that way. Definitely do that. Buy profitable items from a distributor. So red flag number one is that your source is a distributor and you're not buying directly from that brand. You're buying from a distributor instead.
All right, the second red flag is this, that there is no easy way to complete an online purchase with a credit card or debit card for this brand. 99% of the wholesale brands that we buy from online have an online presence that we can then gain access to in order to place our wholesale direct orders. We have had one wholesale supplier who wanted us to order via fax. In the year 2024, they are using a fax machine, and that is weird. I mean, that's just weird. But it was the only way that they had things set up. 99% of the time, if the seller who you're buying from wholesale wants you to buy from them via electronic bank transfer or cash in person or some other unusual non-credit card form, it is likely to be a scam. I only would send a bank transfer if I've sent multiple credit or debit card payments already. And I know that the items I'm buying are high quality and legit. But if a seller wants you to buy from them in any way that does not provide you with payment protections like a credit or debit card would, especially a credit card, then I see that as a big red flag. Again, this does not 100% disqualify the seller from being a trusted source, but it's a red flag to make sure that you do your due diligence and make sure that this is a trusted source.
The next red flag to be careful for is dealing with people who you're trying to buy this wholesale item from and they just have a lack of clarity on pricing. When sourcing wholesale items, usually the more you buy, the more of a discount you're going to get on that buy. Most legit wholesalers will from the start give you a pricing breakdown. They will tell you if you buy 1 to 10 of the same item, it's going to cost you X, but 11 to 25, it will cost you Y, which is a little bit smaller of a cost. And anything over 25 will be the cost of Z, which would be an even smaller cost. And so that's just an example, but most wholesalers will give you a break on buying multiples. So if you don't see any savings with multiples, all you need to do is ask. If you didn't ask for and order 30 of the same item, they will gladly take all of your money for all 30 items at that opening price. But asking them one question, are there any discounts on multiples of the same item? That might lead you to save some big bucks on inventory purchases.
It's also important to understand any of the possible hidden fees when you're placing an order. There are some wholesale or distributor sellers who will give you a great deal on inventory, and then when it's time to actually buy, they'll throw in this fee or that fee that will really lower your ROI on that buy. And the wholesalers are just hoping that you already have so much time and energy invested that those fees that they're throwing in are not going to stop you from paying for the items that you're buying. In economics, this is called a sunk cost. But you're a smart reseller, right? When these hidden fees surprise you, you simply tell your supplier that you were never told about these fees and that you want to cancel placing this order. And they might decide to remove those extra fees for you, or they might let you walk away. In the end, what is called walkaway power can be a huge help for you to make more money in your Amazon business. They might still want the sale even after they remove the hidden fees, and you'll get it at the price that you originally thought you were getting. So just don't get caught up in the moment and pay those hidden fees. See if they will remove them for you before you purchase.
Another wholesale sourcing red flag is to watch for unreliable communication or inconsistent responsiveness from your suppliers. To really win with wholesale inventory on Amazon, you and your supplier need to practice effective communication. That's simply the foundation of any successful business relationship or any non-business relationship, if I'm being honest. When a supplier consistently fails to respond promptly, or they never provide you with updates, or they never address your concerns in a timely manner, that can lead to disruptions and delays in your business. Poor communication can cause misunderstandings, deadlines that are missed, potential negative impact customer satisfaction levels. So when you're trying to think through potential suppliers, pay close attention to their responsiveness, their willingness to maintain open lines of communication. A supplier who values effective communication is more likely to be a reliable and responsive seller to your business needs.
So sometimes you can see these red flags that we've been covering before you even start buying from a wholesale brand or distributor. But how should you handle these red flags if you only see them once you've started ordering from them? Well, that's what we're going to talk about next week on the next episode of the Full-Time FBA Show.
Now, if you're ready to start selling wholesale inventory on Amazon and you know you want to do this the right way, then it's time that you get involved in our upcoming wholesale workshop. This month, I'm teaming with my friends Dan and Dylan from the Wholesale Formula, along with Jason, who will show you the things that you need to know to effectively get started with selling wholesale as an Amazon seller. So this free wholesale training will be available this month in February, and you can access that free training simply by going to fulltimefba.com/wholesale workshop. And that link will either take you directly to the sign-up page for the wholesale training or a waitlist sign-up form where I will email you the moment this wholesale training is open for sign-ups. So this month or sometime in the future, if you're listening to this podcast, not in February, you can get notified when that's available for you. fulltimefba.com/wholesale workshop.
Finally, we want to remind you that with the red flags we talked about, they don't 100% exclude a potential wholesale lead from being reliable, consistent, or legitimate. But they do require you to do your due diligence to make sure you're not getting scammed or played in some way. We want to best help you succeed in your Amazon business and to help you find that success you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. As always, you can find any of the links that we've mentioned in this episode in the show notes for it at fulltimefba.com/227.
And next week on the show, we are going to talk about when or if it's time to fire your wholesale supplier. We'll talk about that next week on the Full-Time FBA Show.
That's all for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. So head over to fulltimefba.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes and links from this episode. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter where you'll get several free downloads of our popular and helpful Amazon FBA resources. Now, take action on what you've learned today so you can find success at turning part-time hours into a full-time income with Amazon FBA.